shilas basically are, again, to understand Kotointi mikol החסדים mikol האמס lo yizo afso. Not only was I made small, am I small because of the chesed, and it goes without saying, lo yizo afso, that from the emes. That the emes brings the Kotointi to a greater depth. We need to understand that. To understand that, he prefaced that emes and chesed is, chesed and emes is tefillah and Torah. Tefillah is ava, and ava is the pnimius of chesed. And that accords with, that aligns with what the Mittler Rebbe said that Yaakov meant, was referring to when he said Mikol HaChasodim, he was referring to Avram. Because Avram is the union of Chesed and Tefillah. And Emes is Torah. Torah's Emes, Reisa Befihu. And that accords, also aligns with the Mittler Rebbe's explanation that Emes goes in Gvuras to Yitzchak, because Yitzchak is Shaykh to Torah, as is known in the Zohar, that the three Avos, correspond to the Shlosheh Regalim. Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot, so Pesach is Avraham, and Shavuos is Yitzchak. Moreover, the Sesedivis begin with V'daber Elikim, and that's Yitzchak, as we explained in the previous Maamar. Gvuras Datika. So, by explaining, therefore, that Chesed, by understanding this, that Chesed is Tefillah and Emes is Torah, we'll understand why Emes brings to a greater bittul. And we pointed out, you think the other way. That Tefillah is greater bittul than Limud HaTorah, for the obvious reasons. Now, to understand this, he's maktim. I just want to correct, but actually the way I translated the Yerushalmi initially is correct. Looking it up. Omar Abchia Rava, the way the Girsa that I saw it is, it says Rivo, it means the great Rabbi Chia. It means the great h'tשכ. It's part of his description of his name. And not most of my days, but all of my days. He says, all of my days I was not mechaven in tefillah except for once. Now, looking up to the Shalmi, what happened then? That there's one time this mechaven in this tefillah, made a photocopy of it. So look at it again, just. So the great Rabbi Chia said, Maimon doesn't address it, it's v'chulu, because it's a very extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Enticing, like what does he mean by this? So the one time he said, I daven with kavanah, I made an effort to daven with kavanah, and what was I thinking? I have to see the Mefarshim here, but I was thinking, who goes into see the king first? The Ar-Ka-Besa or the Reish Galusa? Finished. That was his whole hisbonenus. That was the time he was davening. So the Pnei Moishe says, get it up somewhere, don't have it. That basically he was thinking, do you go in from who goes in first? The lower level, then the higher level, the Mata Lamaila, or the Reish Galusa was higher, goes in first, and then whatever this Greek word for some kind of leader goes in second. That was his whole hisbonenus. End of story, the Gemara goes weiter. It's fascinating. So that's not Negeya. It seems to understanding our Maimon, what it was. But the shayla of the Maimon is that how could we possibly say that he was not mechaven? That he was not mechaven his entire life, except for this one occasion, when about him it says that when he was about to say, Mechaya HaMesim, Tchias HaMesim was about to happen. Now the Yoel had to come down and distract him not to say it. That story, a famous story in Baba Basra, also Tzarech Ian over there, because he said every day, Mechaya HaMesim, what was unique about that time also. Okay. Whatever, see the Mefarshim there. But at any rate, we see that his Adarab, if there's anybody, Eliyahu, the Gemara says that Rabbi asked Eliyahu Novi, is there anybody in the world today like the others whose prayers are answered? He said, yes, Rabbi and his sons. It was a time of droughts. He went to Rabbi and he started to die. The wind started blowing him, but the Geshem, and the rain came down. And then he was going to come to Mechai, the end of the bracha. Mechaya Mesim, he had to be stopped from davening because it would have been Tchias HaMesim, the world wasn't ready. So he never davened except for one time in his life. Bakavon. What does this mean? Okay, that's what we're up to. So Ois Gimel, yeah, we're up to Ois Gimel. Correct? Martin Levaya, Ian, his Galus HaTschek with Nefesh Adam. So this is based again on the Maimon of the Alter Rebbe, with Meksabi HaKodesh of the Mittel Rebbe, with Hagoy's notations of the Tzemach Tzedek. So in that Maimon is Martin to understand this. Ian, his Galus HaTschek with Nefesh Adam. The way the faculties, the order of the hierarchy of the faculties of a person emerge and are revealed. It works from above to below, the higher faculties then set in motion the lower ones. That's the Seder. Namely, he's not talking actually about, usually keiches mean the actual body of the nefesh, as it were, which is seichel and midas. The machshava dibur ma'isa, as we all know, are termed what? They're called garments. Why are they called garments, not keiches usually? But he is just speaking generally, so he calls them keiches. Why? In contrast to the nefesh itself, they're called levushim.
So they're interchangeable.
They're interchangeable. And to some degree, machshava is much more difficult. To some degree, you don't have to wear them at all. You don't have to speak. You don't have to act. And they're levushim because they just means a garment. A garment is a means. What do you need garments for? What do you need clothing for?
The basic level is to not be naked. But in terms of levushim, to express something, you put on nice levushim, you put on this levushim.
Okay, that's true. There's that element of that. Even more elementally, human being needs clothing.
Be warm, shelter.
Yeah, warm or cool, whatever it is. It's to negotiate the world outside of you. Even not to be naked, it's because there's other people around. You know, if there's no one around, it's gefährlich. And people do that. There's no one around, they walk around the house stark naked, apparently. Likes a little busher. But you need clothing to negotiate the world outside of you. So that's what. So hence, what's the connection? Machshava dibur ma'isa is precisely that. What is it? Dibur ma'isa is obvious. With dibur ma'isa, you're communicating, you're engaging with the world outside of you.
Yeah.
But why is machshava levush? We often confuse. People confuse machshava with seichel. It's not the same. How is machshava levush?
You could also change it. You could think something this, or you think something that.
So seichel, you think different ideas. Seichel is lots of different ideas.
The seichel is the koyach, not the.
You're saying words. Is that what you mean?
Seichel is the ability to use your mind to dissect something, to understand something. It's not a thought. A thought is something external. I'm thinking about this tissue box. It's not my seichel.
Thinking about a very deep idea. It's not your seichel.
But it's still an idea. It's not seichel. I'm thinking about something, idea that I know how to put words and shapes together. It's external.
Idea is the world of seichel. It's not
machshava. Machshava is a way of expressing yourself to yourself.
Does machshava have language?
Yeah, machshava is language, so it's taking what's in potential, all the potential of seichel, and expressing it first as you see it. It's your own internal expression of a garment to yourself.
Right, it's an inter-office communication. The pure seichel is beyond language. The faculty of seichel to conceive is beyond language. Doesn't matter what language you speak. The seichel is the same. So in order to communicate the idea to your external self, it's really to your external self. So you invest it in words. But the deeper you in seichel, the less the words. The more ethereal, the more they're just sketches of words. In Chochmah, it's kemat no words at all. Stammer no words. Completely transcends machshava. The garments of machshava with the oisius of machshava. There has to be oisius. So you're communicating. What we're doing is you're filtering. You're communicating to yourself. It's an external part of the. I'm not sure exactly where to pinpoint it, but it's an external part of the self in seichel that has now communicated the pure idea, which at its core transcends language. That without language it cannot be expressed, but it can be conceived. A person born on a desert island that never develops language. They don't have to talk to anybody, but there's intelligence there, obviously. The person can be very creative, but he'll have to give names for things, something. He's going to have to give some kind of his own language. Will have to be formed. Anyway, this is not our subject. It's a sugya shlema, the union of machshava and dibur. But at any rate, so his point here is this. Let's go further. The way it works is benefesh ha'adam is milamayla lamata keicha machshava and keicha dibur keicha ma'isa. Now, what's the parallel with the Gemara say lamayla? We'll say the rishtal shalos. Olam is biyah, b'li yitzira asiyah. So biyah is machshava, yitzira is the Eibishter's dibur, and asiyah is the Eibishter's action. Shem keneged machshava dibur ma'isa. Baruch and Malkimach has explained at length elsewhere, look at the Torah in other places. Yeshchili bin Leifin is galas hakeches, but there's a difference with respect to the way these faculties are revealed within a person, a human, Leifin ishtalshalis lamaila, to the way they work above, and that is sheba'adam lamata. Down here, ima yesha kol gimel hakeches inem elagili nefesh. Even though they all emerge from the nefesh, these faculties or garments, and the loftier one is thought, below that is speech, below that is action. They don't have to follow this order and all these steps rather. It's not a hechrech that you can't act before you speak. It can be skipped. You can walk, for example. Mitzad hergesh alev, just the desire. It comes first from the hergesh alev. The source of that in brackets, it's the will that's articulated in the mind. And then the hevel alev, that's what animates the whatever this means, I'm not sure. I don't know what hevel halev means. Hevel means breath of the heart. It could be the oxygen that the blood is carried, that animates movement and it animates the body. I don't know. At any rate, fact is, the action is not receiving anything from speech. There's no instruction, walk. It's just, I want to walk, I walk. And the same is also true of speech and thought. Namely, in hechrech, this is more subtle. In hechrech, shadibur yekabel machshava. It's not perforce that one can speak, in other words, without thought motivating it. Now, really? Question. If you're speaking dibur mesuder, you're speaking orderly words that make sense. He thinks before he speaks. Not only that, so how we're saying it's possible to have dibur without machshava. You cannot have orderly words, orderly speech, without having thought before one opens one's mouth. Even speech that's not mesuder, he's not thinking what he's speaking. Now, what is he talking about? Maybe daven? No. It's about speech. Talk. He's not thinking what he's saying. I'm not sure myself if someone can explain this. Be happy to hear.
It's like it's not cohesive what he's saying. Someone could be saying something, it could be nonsense. Saying words, it's not.
So someone's sick. He's drunk. He's having some kind of epileptic fit. What is this? That's what he's talking about. Talking about someone who's ill. Keep going further. I have to look up Tanya. Any yochel adaber ki moisim diburim shekvar hoyu pam b'machshavta. He had to have thought about this once before. That it could be like you said, reciting your poem or something. He's thought about this before, but now he's just saying the words and not thinking them. I guess something like our davening. God forbid I'm saying it. Could happen sometimes on a bad day. Okay, so there is this Indian of speaking. He's thought about this before, so they're just conceding here. It's impossible for words to be said without having thought about them once. But later it's possible. Right now when he's speaking, he's not thinking what he's saying. Okay, you know what I'm thinking about this? Yeah, as this comes to mind. Every morning at school, when we were kids, we had line-up. And Rabbi Groner would say, "Good morning, Boker Tov Yeladim," and the whole school is lined outside, year round, as Australia, weather was good. And the whole school would say, "Boker Tov, Rabbi Groner." Yeah, so that's very possible that we said that, not thinking we were saying, just by rote. Good morning, good morning. The salutation when you walk into, it's very possible that a person says that not thinking what he's saying at all. It's just a trigger. Ragorna said, you trigger back. Maybe that's an example. There's certain words that you have to say, expect it to be said that you know they have to be said now, and you say them, you're just not thinking about what you're saying. When we were kids, at the table, not leave the table before you said the following. Thank you very much for the lovely meal. May I please leave the table? You got permission from my mother or father to leave the table. You pick up and leave. So, yeah, that was probably said many times. I'm not thinking. I'm thinking about going to play footy, but that's the thing you say before you go. So, yeah, maybe that's a similar notion.
It's saying Dibra Sheina Masudar.
Huh?
I'm wondering what that means. It's not Masudar.
Yeah, not you're right, not Masudar, but he says, Zeh Gufa, he thought about the months, and he thought about the months that were not Masuda then. What does that mean? The original time. He teaches Eina Masudash, Eina Choyshev, Masha Medaber. That's what he teaches in brackets, not Masudash. Not that the words come out, Mambo Jamba, but he's not well. He's drunk or something's wrong with him.
He's not thinking. It's just
Yeah, Eina Masudash is it. That's how he teaches it. Eina Choyshev, Masha Medaber. The listener hears words that make sense, but he's not thinking about it. So again, I'm giving you examples. That's what it is. But in fact, I wasn't thinking what I was saying. It was just sitting by road so I can be off. At any rate, so what do we see? Vahaino, again, the fact that now when he said it, he's not thinking about what he says. Perforce we conclude dibur happens, it doesn't have to go through the oishis hamachshava. It's not like seichel and midas. You can't have midas without having the seichel unlock it. Not true about these koichos ulavushim. Because if it was, you have to think it through first. Only then from thought would it come to speech. Not so. So here too again, like Maisa, you want to walk, you walk, completely skips machshava straight to Maisa. Likewise, here, you speak, and it comes from the hevel alev. Now he adds, it's what the heart gives in order to animate speech is more refined than this breath of the heart or the energy of the heart that has to animate action. At any rate, it comes directly from the heart, from the rotzen, the loy oisies and machshava, bypassing the thought process. That's the way it is by a person. Okay, but generally we're clear. What's the point he just said? Anybody repeat it? Conclusion?
point to it.
Huh?
Point to it.
Yeah, just as a fact. He's making an observable fact. When it comes to a person, what do we see? Even though this, nonetheless this. Even though what?
Even though you think it works in a seder.
Yeah.
But does it not necessarily? You can skip around.
You can skip. You can go straight from machshava
to action. Or the dibur could come without machshava.
And dibur can come straight from the rotzen alev.
And the fact that he once thought about those words.
Hebel.
Huh? Which comes from the rotzen, huh?
The fact that
he won't say unless he doesn't want to do it. What?
But the fact that he did once think about those words.
Doesn't help for now.
But in Indian.
Right now, but pale right now, it's not activated. It's not a chiyun, but that's what he says. So mucher, it actually doesn't say, interesting, it doesn't say that it's mucher, that dibur doesn't come from machshava. It doesn't come from the oisias of machshava. So there's got to be some element of thought, but not the, it's the pure rotzen expressed there, but not the oisias of machshava. Okay, the truth is, I mean, it's to understand, if we're talking about not and other primary sources that deal with this, we'd have greater understanding. But whatever we got, we got. The general idea we definitely got. Yeah? Okay, let's go further. Lamaida doesn't work that way. It's a contrast to Lamaida, even though Machshavati but Maisa parallel, Biyah, Bri, Tzirasiya, their interaction, there's no skipping. You can't say so. Can move in, it's understood. How do we refer to it? As the order of chain. A chain. It's like a physical chain. The lower link, it's connected only to one level above it. It can't connect to it 2 levels above it. Can't skip. And this ring is connected to the one adjacent to it. A lower link cannot get from a link above it, bypassing the link in between them. Moreover, in addition to drawing this conclusion from the very term ishtalshalos, this is, we think about the way it works, it's certainly so that there's no skipping madregas for one level to emerge. That the divine light that descends from Etzilus to Biyah, which is below it, that cannot descend to Yitzira. Yitzira cannot exist, period. Receive. It emerges from Atzilus without first the process of Bria. Bria first creates the Tzimtzum, and already there's a tremendous Medida Bakbala on the Eir Atzilus where in Eilam HaBriya, and then that can give rise to and create Eilam HaYitzira. In such a way that Eilam HaYitzira retain its limitations and not be completely dissolved out of existence. So it's got to go through the process of Ishtalshalos. Likewise, going downwards from Yitzira to Asiya cannot get directly from Yitzira. From Bria. Right? Yeah. The way it works, that's cause and effect, that's a chain reaction. The reaction needs to have the cause above it, and that's the only thing it directly relates to. The effect, any result, it only knows its cause, because the cause is the cause responsible for its existence. And beyond it, it knows of the existence, but not Yudea. I mean, having an intimate connection. It does not know, it can't relate to, it cannot experience the cause of its cause. Clear? So again, concluding, this is unlike the way it is down here. They can, Maisa and Dibur can go directly and avoid, bypass Machshava and go straight where? To the Hevel Alev, without the intermediary level above them, where there's Keich HaDibur, Keich HaMachshava. Yeah, just a second here. Huh? You want to go? Okay, if you can, you got to charge. And boy, can they charge. Okay. You got to run. All right, let's wrap it up. No, we finished. Okay, so this is the end of the ois. We should go further. Chaim is our president. What are we doing now? I don't have today's the Swedish Kyslev.
So for sure you should go further.
We'll say a word about the Swedish Kyslev. Because the Swedish Kyslev, we all know, is the day h'tchk, when, as it were, the Rebbe returned to good health after the massive heart attack on Shmini Atzeres. Yeah, so how significant is that this year? Recovery, Geula, Tchias HaMeisim, after Shmini Atzeres. Okay, we'll add another Nakuda, as we all know that Kislev, it's all related. Kislev is referred to as the Chassidish month, as we all know, many milestones occur in the month of Kislev, starting with the Alter Rebbe, Yutes Kislev, and all the way down to Al Rebbe, Rosh Chodesh Kislev. And Rosh Chodesh, of course, is the day which incorporates within it all the head. Let's see, the beginning of the month, the head of the month, it incorporates all of the days of the month. And why Kislev? Because Kislev is the third month. from Tishrei, in the same way that Sivan is the third month of Nisan. There are two beginnings to the year. Nisan and Tishrei, we all know the difference. Nisan is Milamayla, Lamata. Hashem comes down and takes us out of Mitzrayim. The whole process there was all divinely bestowed, including Matan Torah. Hashem descends on Har Sinai. But that's not enough, because that led, or didn't lead to, but notwithstanding this revelation, there was the debacle of Chet HaEgel and so on. Why? Because there has to be the Avodah also, not just recipients, but milamata lamayla. And it's the fusion of the two, of revelation from above to below, and the Avodah from below to above, that the perfect connection happens. Lahavi kedein or kedein, without explaining that right now. So Kislev is the third month of Tishrei, the Avodah, the culmination. 3 represents fusion. 1 is 1, 2 is 2. But 3 is the fusion, Yaakov, Tiferes, the fusion of 1 and 2, making 1. So Chassidus is dafke revealed in the third month, because what is Chassidus, in a word? Chassidus is being at Matan Torah. Chassidus opens up all the levels, actually, till Atzmusa Yisborech, in Maimer after Maimer. But how's this happening? It's Melamata Lamayla, we're learning it with Seichel Adam, the person's endeavors. It's our ascent, as it were, Torah empowering us. That's the might of Torah Shebal Peh, that empowers us and lifts us to understand and be connected to the deepest levels of the divine. Every Maimer is Matan Torah, which is why we should stand by the Maimer. But how's it happening? Melamata Lamayla. And that completes the relationship. That's the fusion. And that leads to Geula. From below to above, the third month, Kislev, the fusion of man and God from man's effort. And Nisan is man and God from God's revelation. And the fusion, the ultimate, is in both simultaneously. And the Chodesh Kislev is all the Rosh, the head, that incorporates all of this in its not embryonic, but potential and head state from which everything else emerges. And hence our Rebbe's Yontif from Shmini Atzeres, Pashat Chias HaMesim, the doctors, I was there, my friends. It was touch and go, mamish touch and go in the middle of the night, and the Rebbe was returned to good health vigorously and increased his workload, as we all saw with our own eyes. If that's possible, but he did. And that's all Melamata Lamayla, with the Teva, with the doctors. Teva itself expressive of higher than Teva. And all Shmini Atzeres, so the Eibusha should help it, so should be. Keinti Elono, that the darkness of Shmini Atzeres is transformed into light, and transformed. Pashat Chias HaMesim, the Gula Mitis Vashlema, we unite with all our loved ones here. Simchas Olam al Rosham, the Chodesh